if you can be an individual that wants something for people and not from people, if you can serve people and genuinely, authentically love people, and you're out for them and not what they can do for you, sky's the limit, dude.
Everything is possible. Just hustle. Just hustle.
The $1 Million Hustle Podcast, where we keep it real, unstated entrepreneurship wisdom. Learn to think like a millionaire and hustle like you're broke. Here's your host, Billy the Kid, aka Billionaire.
Everything is possible. Just hustle. Just hustle. Everything is possible. Just hustle.
What's good, everybody? It's your boy Billy the Kid, aka BDK, aka Billionaire in this mug, and welcome to the $1 Million Hustle Podcast, baby, where you're gonna learn to think like a millionaire and hustle like you're broke. You're gonna get uncomfortable, you feel me? All the conversations that we're gonna have are uncomfortable for you to think about, for you to sit there and really study where you are with your life. And my favorite thing is, if you are not ready to take your life to the next level, then do not hit play on this podcast, plain and simple. And today is the perfect example of that, man. Just got off the phone with my man, Joslin. Such a great dude, man. This dude is literally the perfect example of the people that you want to be around. And, he's good at keeping in contact. He's just a humble individual, and for where he's at right now and the stuff that he's doing, you would definitely not think that he's this humble, but that's why he is where he is, and it's something that we talked about today. Before we even get going, I want to talk about his book today, As the Leader Grows. That is by Joslin. The nice thing is that it's a very easy book, but it's full of information. Like, this is it. This is a manual that I recommend anybody out there that wants to get straight to it and get as much information the fastest way possible. I mean, it focuses on mindset growth, just success in general. So check out his book. That is the book of the week today, since that is who we have on the podcast, and I'm super pumped. It's a pleasure. But before we get going, some of the stuff that we talked about was, saying yes. And one of the points that I made that I always like to make is, if you say yes, you have an abundant mindset. If you say no, then you have a scarcity mindset. So it's something to think about. The more yeses you say, the more opportunities are going to come. That's just plain and simple. Of course, the more yeses you say, then the more stress, right? But if you don't have stress going on, there's no growth. And if you do feel overwhelmed, if you do feel stressed, quote unquote, then that means that you need to elevate your mindset. You cannot go back and say, you know what, I'm going to take it slower. I can't handle what I'm going through right now. You have to elevate your mindset at that point. Something that we definitely talked about in today's episode. And, when a person claims to be too busy to do anything, they are admitting their inefficiency. Definitely, it goes along with saying yes. And again, we touched on that today. So it's a very great episode. I'm super pumped. Before we get into it, guys, I want to announce today, or actually not today, yesterday, I just closed on 2 more doors. I'm super excited for that. So anybody out there that's selling any properties, please let us know. Please let me know, because we are constantly buying them. We are definitely looking to grow the portfolio. So the 2 properties that we got, one of them I might just hotel or wholesale. The other one, I'm actually gonna flip it, I think. But either way, one of the biggest lessons is to always have your money working for you. So the options are there, but I just bought these 2 properties because I knew something was gonna come out of it. Whether I keep them, flip them, wholesale them, whatever it is. That's just part of the game. The main thing is to keep your money rotating. Don't just let it sit there at the bank. So definitely I'm excited. We've been doing a lot of great things with the mastermind. Shout out to all the guys. every day is fire on there, you know, on the text messages that we have and everything. And I'm actually going to open up one more spot. I'm trying to keep it a small group, just as small as possible. But if you're interested in joining the Get Uncomfortable Mastermind, please shoot me an email, info@billythekid.com, with your story, your name and your story, and what business you are wanting to get into or what business you are into already. And with that being said, if you do that, then we can go ahead and provide you with info. We're only going to open one more spot, so please let me know as soon as possible so that way we can get you in if you are the right fit. We have had to say no in some instances, but don't let that discourage you. Make sure you at least try, right? That's all it takes is try. And we meet every Friday from 7 p.m. till 8:30 sometimes, or 8, at least an hour, but most of the time is more than that. And there's so many great people in that group. Shout out to everybody in there, man. Everybody brings their part, and honestly, I would be a liar if I didn't tell you guys that every single dude is killing it in that mastermind right now. Every single person, and they can vouch that the mastermind has elevated their business, their personal, their finances, their relationships, just all around. So we do a 30-day challenge where you either drop or gain something. And what that means is, we've had guys lose 30 pounds, 20 pounds right now. We've had people that maybe didn't watch TV for the full 30 days. So it's a 30-day challenge that we run every single month. So yeah, if you're interested, if you're ready to take your life to the next level, join the Get Uncomfortable Mastermind. I promise you, it is worth it. And I'm going to have some testimonials here from the guys soon as well, so that way you guys can hear the success stories. I am loving every single moment in that mastermind. So if you're interested, info@billythekid.com. Make sure you guys check out my brand new song. It's called Open Minded. And this song is called Open Minded because it talks about literally 2 different levels of thinking, right? So one of the bars on there, basically I say how some people might call somebody greedy, but then, so let's say with me, if somebody calls me greedy, I've had other people that call me ambition, right? That I have ambition. So it's 2 levels of thinking. It's the same thing, but 2 levels of thinking. So you need to think more on the other side of things anytime you think, and your life will change. Another example, it's funny, shout out to one of my guys on the mastermind. I was talking about buying a dump trailer on there, and long story short, the example I gave him of how time is worth more than the money that I paid for that dump trailer, for example, for my construction company. And, one of the guys made a joke basically saying, oh, some people will call that lazy. Like, he was making it a point that, yes, there is 2 levels of thinking, and it is so true. So check out the song Open Minded. It is out everywhere right now. I have another great announcement before we jump on with Ken Joslin. If you are interested in his event, which is, I believe, January 26th, it's a 3-day event, the Grow Stack Drive. It's going to be hosted in Atlanta for 2023. And there's going to be people like John Maxwell himself, Ken Joslin speaking, Ed Milet, Carlos Reyes. I mean, it's packed. It is packed with nothing but great people. I actually just became an affiliate with them. So if you are interested in getting your early tickets, please go to growstackdrive.com/BillyTheKid, BILLYDHAKIDD. So that is growstackdrive.com/BillyTheKid. And you're actually going to get some percentages off for going through that link. So please go now so you guys can go. You guys will see me there. I'm going to be supporting my homie Ken Joslin. But you know what? Enough of that. I am excited. Let's get to this interview. And here is the man, the myth, the legend, Ken Joslin, baby. Vámonos. What's good, everybody? Welcome to the $1 Million Hustle podcast. I am pumped today, and it's funny. I had to push it to get this show on the road because before doing the recording, we were already just talking some greatness, like always. Today I got my man Ken Joslin. How you doing, buddy?
What's up, homie? I'm good, dude.
Man.
I'm with a bona fide rock star. Blue check mark and everything, bro. What you talking about?
Love it, man. Love it. I want to thank you, Ken, because you are super talented at what you do. Since I've met you, it has been nothing but humbleness. And it's crazy because when you measure your success of where you're at and the humbleness that you have, there's something there. And you know what? Let's start with that, man. If you could explain how important that is.
Especially in the space that I'm in, people ask me all the time. Like I just had our mastermind. I run a very high level. That's when I say high level. It's crazy, man. What God's doing right now. It's a faith-based mastermind. Our core 5 is faith, health, relationships, business, and finances. Faith, health, relationships, business, and finances. I had 5 8-figure earners in the room with 35, 36 people. 5 of those were 8-figure earners. For those of you guys that don't know what that is, that's somebody who makes over $1 million a month. And a lot of 7-figure earners, and I had a couple young guys in there, like 24-ish, making $400 to $600K a year. And people ask me all the time. I mean, we've got guys in there like, Brent Gove, one of the top guys at EXP, 35,000 agents in his organization. Randy Garn, dude, Randy's the most connected dude on the planet. Like, he's best friends with Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. He knows everybody. He runs one of the top level masterminds for all of the who's when it comes to speakers, authors, and coaches, from Mel Robbins to Lewis Howes to Dean to Anthony Trucks to Jay Shetty to, Dave Hollis. I could just go on and on and on and on. Randy's a part of our mastermind. Gary Brecka partners with Grant Cardone and 10X Health Systems. Gary and Sage I talked to Gary this morning already. I've got a text thread with 5 guys. Randy's one of those. Gary's one of those. My buddy Master Jeff, Forbes magazine calls him the Tony Robbins of Persia. He's one of those 8-figure earner guys. My buddy Brian Covey, who's one of the top guys at senior vice president at Loan Depot, $2 billion they did last year. And people go, how do you get such amazing relationships? And it really is this principle. It is, be a leader who wants something for people, not from people. And it's crazy, dude. The stuff I hear out there today, it's like, and if you look at my Instagram page, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, I wasn't putting anybody on blast, but it's like, so I did that. I said, you want to attract amazing people in your life or your business, be a leader who wants something for people, not from people. And then in the bottom, I wrote like a little quote, and I said, it's not about you, it's about them. Because you hear so much now, and it's like, you hear so much now about, it's got about you, you take care of you, it's all about you, and be you here and be and I'm like, no, that you can be for you if you're talking about what I call the oxygen mask principle. When you get on a plane, if you're traveling with a young child, if in case of loss of cabin pressure, the oxygen mask, put the mask on yourself first and then on the child. Because if you don't, both of you are doomed. So you do there is a part of that where you have to take care of you, but it's done from the standpoint and from the perspective of a servant leader, where you're doing it so then you can take your life and impact other people.
Man, that is so true. And that's definitely one thing that I can preach about you or stamp about you, that you are all, and that's one of my favorite quotes from you. And there's a lot of them, Ken. But be someone that wants something for people, not from people. Like that's huge right there, because you said it with IG. We're living in a place right now where that's all it is. That's all you see on social media. And it's funny you mentioned that, because lately, if I take it back 10 years ago, and somebody did me wrong, right? Because we're in business, and let's keep it real, things always go wrong, right? And somebody did me wrong back then. Ken, I would be a liar if I wasn't that negative person that got myself sick by saying, oh, born alone, die alone. I actually made a whole album called Trust Issues, because of which was great too, because it let me get it out too. But the point is that just because some asshole did some asshole things doesn't mean that that you can't give the next person a chance. And I'm big on that. I live by that nowadays. Out of the every five people you meet, you know, there's going to be that one asshole, but the other four are worth it. So if you could add on to that.
Yeah. I had a call several years ago. It's probably 2 or 3 years ago. I got a call from a really good friend of mine that I've known forever, big time business guy. And he asked me about a friend of mine that I was doing business / ministry with back in like 2000, 2001. And I hadn't talked to this guy at that point in about 12 years. And there were some things that happened, some things that went down that were not good on his side, some malicious, intentional things. And so this guy calls me up on the phone and he asked me about the other individual. And I just said, Richie, I haven't talked to him in about 12 years, but I will tell you this. I'm not the same man I was 12 years ago. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's not the same man he was 12 years ago either. And I think, dude, listen, you know, obviously I'm a person of faith, and I spent 12 of the last 25 years in full-time ministry, pastoring churches. Our mastermind's a faith-based mastermind. I tell people all the time, when you understand how much God loves you and that he really did send his son to take your place, and that he loves you and it's not predicated on your performance. And when you understand that God and Jesus love me, not because of what I do, but because of who I am. He loves me because he created me. I'm a son or a daughter. And when you get that and that understanding, in Ephesians chapter 1, verse 17, it talks about the eyes of your heart being opened or enlightened. 117 or 118. And really, when you have that moment in your life where you're like, dude, God, you love me so much, you forgave me of all of this. Then what happens is you tend to use that same filter when you forgive other people in your life. You tend to use that same filter when you do life, and people are going to do you wrong. It's and sometimes it's not even intentional. You know, sometimes it's accidental, but things are going to happen that aren't going to feel good. And how are you going to walk through that? And you said it just a minute ago. You know, I was still angry at this guy, or this happened, and I had to do an album to kind of get, you know, unforgiveness. And you've probably heard this before. Unforgiveness is like you drinking rat poison and expecting the other person to die. Like it's not going to do, it doesn't do anything to them. All it does is when you harbor unforgiveness and bitterness in your heart, or if you've done so, I had to send a text last week to 2 really good friends of mine for something that I did that was wrong. And I said, guys, listen, I apologize for 2 things, what I did and the length of time that it took me to apologize. Because God said, you do it now. And I was like, oh, you know, because, you know, we don't want to do that. That's not what we want to do. And I did. And when we, let me say this, when we've done something wrong and we apologize, we don't apologize looking for a response from that individual or group of individuals to make us feel better. We're apologizing so we can clean the slate between us and God and us and them. Their response and how they deal with that is between them and God. It's not between me and them. I've done what I needed to do. And if the response is great, because like for one, it was a couple. I got a response from her. I didn't get a response from him. And it bothered me. And I'm like, God, you know, what's up? And God said, no, this isn't between you. Let him process through this the way he needs to process through this. But this is about you and them. You said something you should not have said. You need to own that and handle it yourself. And it's not about their response. It's about how you're going to handle that. And dude, I just think that, you know, in this world we live in, social media, you know, self-development, you know, I get to hang around some really, really cool people. And the people that I spend the most time with that are the most amazing human beings are the people that understand about love, honor, and respect in the relationship with other people.
Man, that is deep right there, Ken. It is so true. And obviously with that being one of your 5 core values that you focus on, you mentioned faith, health, relationships, and finances. And I love that you have finances at the end. I'm a big believer that you need to be mentally prepared first. Your faith needs to be in line first. Once you have all those things, then the financials just come. And
Dude,
so I love that you have that.
It's literally my team's working on a graphic today. It's secular. When you get your faith component right and you get from your faith to your health. I mean, I've lost 80 pounds in 2 years. I've got another 20 plus to go. I was busting my ass at the gym this morning. It's your faith and then your physical health, your emotional health, your mental health. Then the relationships just fall into line. It's like amazing how dude, all my relationships improve when I get my faith life and my health life where it needs to be. The relationships just begin to improve. And guess what happens after that? The business and the finances, that's just organic. You don't even have to, it's like you said earlier, you don't really even have to work hard on that. It's just, if you're passionate about what you're doing, the business is going to grow and you're going to make impact on people because faith, health, relationships are all in alignment. When you get that, when you get those first three, the business is going to come in alignment. The right people are going to come in your life that need to be in your life. And when that happens, guess what? The revenue and the finances are going to go to another level. I told you off air, we had our biggest week ever last. We did $102,600 last week. It was our biggest week we ever had. I mean, our goal this year is 5 million, 5.192 million. And we did 102K last week. We did right close to 200 in the last month. So that's not our goal. So we gotta keep pushing that number. But when you get those 5 areas in alignment, dude, you do open up the opportunity for God to be able to bless you. You're disciplined in your health. And when you're disciplined, I'm sitting here drinking a protein shake. This is day 9 of keto for me. Again, it's my second round of keto. First one was 7-8 months to help me get from 45 pounds to the 80 pound mark. And so when you get the discipline in line, that discipline bleeds into every area of your life, by the way. It's not just one area. It bleeds into all the other areas of your life. And then your relationships start to come in alignment because you are starting to be whole. You're starting to become the best version of you.
I love that, Ken. So true. There's so much truth to that, and obviously you're living proof of that. It's easy. It's easy to see, right? Ken killing it right now, killing it, doing everything. But if you could let us know a quick background of your story, where are you from, and kind of how you got to where you're at now.
Wow, dude, that's a long. I turned 54 last Sunday. Actually, Sunday before last. Last Sunday was my daughter's 14th birthday. She was born a week after me. I turned 54 years old. It's funny, this life, when you understand what life is all about, and that this is a journey. It's not like you've got a destination or an ending, every 3 months or 6 months or a year. It's a journey. You need to learn to enjoy the journey. But one of the things I've learned, I'll be super transparent with you. One of the things I've learned over the past year is I've been in therapy, walking through ending a 27-year marriage. Been the most difficult 2.5 years personally for me ever. One of the things I learned, I've got a counselor. She's phenomenal. She's like a mild version of Medea. She's like a 55-year-old black lady who don't put up with your shit. She tells you the truth and she just fires it off, baby, just like it's supposed to be. And we're sitting there one day and she was like, tell me about growing up. Tell me about your childhood. And I said, when I was 8 years old, I was born in Detroit, grew up in Pontiac, Michigan. When I was 8, my parents got divorced and moved to Georgia. And I've said from my 6th grade year to my senior year of high school, I moved back and forth to my dad's house 6 times. And she was writing notes and she looked up at me. She said, why on earth would you want to move that many times? And for the first time in 53 years, I was having a conversation. I went to 12 schools in 12 years. 12 schools. I went to 6 high schools. I wore that as a badge of honor my entire life. And this is when I talk about faith and health. Health isn't just the physical. I'm down to 80 pounds, but it's also the emotional and the mental. Like, what are the things that keep tripping me up in my life? Because they're going to be the same thing. And if it's something that's tripping you up when you're 30 and you don't deal with it and you don't get healing in that area of your life, you're going to trip over it when you're 40. You're going to trip over it when you're 45. You're going to trip over it when you're 50. So you might as well do the work. She looks at me and she goes, why on earth would you want to move so many times? And for the first time, somebody asked me that question. And I looked at her and I went, I didn't have a choice. If I ever got in trouble, my mom would say, go pack a bag. And I had 24 to 48 hours before I was on a bus, a plane, or my dad was on the way from Michigan to get me. She was writing notes in her journal, and she looked up and she goes, Ken, how do you think that's had an effect on the relationships with the women in your life who are supposed to love and protect you? Whoo, I was like, oh my, like, you want to talk about?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Man.
I looked in to the relationship 4 or so months ago that I was in at the time. And every time something got hard, I ran. Every time something got difficult, I took off. I'd pack my bag and I would leave. And I had no idea. I had no idea. The thing that I talked about and said, you know, beat my chest on, 12 schools, 12 years, 6 high schools, graduated, went straight in the United States Air Force, served, came home back to Georgia after 3.5, 4 years. You know, I can do anything. There's nothing I can't. I had no idea that was a front for me hiding and protecting how I had been hurt as a kid by my own mom. But here I am in the middle of a relationship with a woman that I loved very, very deeply. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was a light bulb moment. And
I was just going to ask you, Ken, have you ever gone back and done that exercise where you talk back to, you know, that youngster or whatever to kind of be at peace? Because you definitely, what I loved is you did talk about kind of leaving your past, but figuring it out before you keep fighting, because if not, it's always going to be there for the rest of your life until you figure that out. Have you ever had that moment?
Most definitely, dude. Listen, I don't have one therapist. I have 2. I don't have one. I have 2.
Love it.
Maxine's local. She's a cool version of Medea. And then Dr. Rob Kelly, who is a dear friend. He is one of the top NLP guys in the world. He's one of the top addiction doctors, all A-listers. And I mean, his picture he had on his Zoom call from the other day was Wonder Woman, James Marsden, or whatever the guy's name is, Will Ferrell. I mean, it was 6 A-listers. Yeah, 6 A-listers that he's walking through, that he's helped get free from alcohol addiction. I don't have an addiction. What I did have, though, was trauma from growing up that we've been walking through mirror work in the morning, getting in front of the mirror and looking at myself and going, dude, I love you 10 times. Ken Joslin, I love you. Ken, I love you. I told him, I said, dude, I get so fired up about number 7. I'm like fist bumping myself in the mirror. Like, I get fired up. My affirmations,
love it.
My affirmations, gratitude and affirmations, huge every morning. I've got 5 affirmations that I look in the mirror, dude. You will have a millionaire mindset. You will live a life where your heart, head, and relationships are in alignment. You honor and respect those you love most. Your actions will be a true reflection of your heart. You are whole. You choose to use past pain to help other people find healing, and you are enough because you are his child. Every single day I'm looking. And then, dude, if I have a bad moment throughout the day, I literally will take my phone. I will put my camera on. I'll flip it around and I will look at myself and talk to myself. And people are like, dude, that's a little crazy. No, that's the price it takes for you to be whole and healed, so God can do everything through you that he wants to do through. There's no mistake. It's not an accident that our business has grown. I mean, literally we're 2.5 years old, and we'll do close to $5 million this year in revenue.
Wow.
And that's insane. I would have never been able to do that had I not taken this journey, faith journey, health journey, physically, emotionally, mentally, walking through and doing the freaking work. It takes freaking work. And the deal is people look at it and they're like, dude, I can't overcome that. You know, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, homie. You just freaking do it. But so I think, you know, going back all the way back to the original question, the original thing we started talking about was, you know, in this space, man, If you can be an individual that wants something for people and not from people, if you can serve people and genuinely, authentically love people, and you're out for them and not what they can do for you, sky's the limit, dude.
I love it, Ken. And again, I'm making a point here, guys, that you have worked your butt off, right? Like this doesn't just happen. And one of my favorite things I like to tell my mastermind group is you took the steps, you didn't take the elevator. And it's a misconception that a lot of people think, they see me, the music thing, but it's like, I've been doing it for a couple decades now. And I didn't I'm still walking these steps, but with all that being said, Ken, what is the biggest factor that has helped you to be successful, or a habit, or just whatever factor comes to your mind?
Yeah, a concept I created over the past couple of years called incremental, not monumental. Small daily discipline decisions over time always equal monumental results. Success cannot escape you when you do the right thing every single day. Incremental, not monumental. Small daily discipline decisions over time always bring yield. They will deliver you monumental results. Success cannot escape you if you do the right thing every single day. The problem is that's not sexy. It's just not. You just don't look at it and go, dude, I can't wait to do that. I can't wait to get up at 4:30 every morning and have a morning routine and be disciplined to stick with my morning routine. And like when I walked downstairs this morning to go to the gym, my pre-workout's already made in my refrigerator. My workout clothes are already sitting in my chair in my master bedroom, in my little sitting area. They're waiting on me. My tennis shoes are in the floor. Like I'm ready to roll as soon as I get up. It's not oh crap, I wonder what I'm going to do today. No, I did the work the night before to know what today looked like before I walked into it. If your work day starts when your alarm clock goes off, you're in trouble. Your work day better start the night before with you planning and organizing what your day looks like the following day. And you got to pay the price. So how have we done what we've done? Incremental, not monumental.
Man, I love it.
Small daily discipline decisions, bro. And some people, we live in like a microwave society. Everybody wants stuff in like a minute or 2 minutes. It just doesn't work that way. We tend to overestimate what we can do in the short term, but almost always underestimate what we can do in the long term. And this it's a marathon, dude. It's a journey. Like it's a journey. And you have to, when you understand that it's a journey, you understand that concept, that principle of incremental, not monumental, it's easier to slow down and enjoy what's going on. And it's almost like sometimes when you get that understanding and you slow down and start enjoying things, the things that you want come to you faster than they did if all you're doing is out there hustling, trying to get to it faster.
Man, and I want to dig a little more deep into that, Ken, because that's kind of how we started the conversation. I was just sharing with you kind of every time that I've always, for example, at first, when I first started rapping and then I got my first merchandise, I was ready to hustle, right? I used to go to every little gas station or whatever in the Midwest, all the way to Texas, Virginia, California. And it was a lot of hard work. And don't get me wrong, it got me quote unquote rich, right? But it wasn't wealth at all, because I was away from the family and all the other stuff. But then I started noticing that once I got, which don't get me wrong, anybody listening, you have to hustle. That's just,
yes,
you got to start. Yes. There's no way around that. Again, you got to do the work. But I'm a big believer that once you do the work, then you can graduate to working smarter, not harder, right? Then you can, and then I feel like once you get to that point, that's where you build an empire. And now, digitally, I've been able to collect my royalties instead of physically selling these CDs, 10 hours away from my house or whatever. So I'm a big believer in hustling, but also the more I have worked on my mental, the easier things come to me. And we were just talking about it. For example, the house I live at now, literally it was the builder sold it to me directly. It was just an easy process, right? And now looking at acreage, like I was telling you, Ken, and things just come to me now. And if you could touch a little bit on what plays in that part, some might call it law of attraction or what the universe, I call it God, but if you could touch a little bit on that, because I know you play that game and you do it to the next level.
Yeah. like attracts like. John Maxwell says, who's a really good friend of mine, John says, you don't reproduce what you know, you reproduce who you are. You're going to attract who you are. even in the relationship game. If you're looking for a partner, this is a quote from 20 years ago when I was youth pastor. Stop worrying about finding Mr. and Mrs. Right and worry about becoming Mr. and Mrs. Right. Like, become who you're looking for. Become what you're looking for in a spouse. Stop trying to find this mythical person and become the mythical person. And I think that's huge, dude. Just become the mythical person. Become the person that you want. Become the person that's patient and kind and trustworthy and loving and serving. You become that person and you'll attract that person. Again, what John says, John's right on the freaking money. You don't reproduce what you know, you reproduce who you are. And when you do the work, you will attract the right people. My one affirmation, that's probably my number one affirmation, is I will live a life where my heart, head, and relationships are in alignment. When I first did that affirmation, probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it was only, I'll live a life where my heart and head are in alignment. And here's why that's important. Your heart is your vision factory. Dude, it's where you dream. It's where you paint the picture. It's what excites you in the morning when you get up and you're like, dude, I can't wait to go do that. I can't wait. I'm sitting here looking. I've got Post-it notes all over my podcast studio. 12-month goals, 50, 100, 500, 1,000 for GSD. 50 people in GSD Elite, 100 people in GSD Community, 500 people at my Create Conference, 1,000 courses sold. That's 5.192 million. And I'm sitting over here. I've got a list from Scottsdale that's got 275K on it. I've got Create Speaker Partners over here that's got $180,000 in revenue on it. I've got CEO tickets, which are 10K for my conference. I got about 30 names on it. Like, I'm sitting here. I know exactly where we're going. I know exactly what we're going after. And I think, dude, when you get that and you understand like where I'm going, and you got it. It's right over your shoulder in neon, baby. Hustle. I gotta hustle. But when Gary Brecka said this at our event we did last October in Vegas. We did it with my good friend Brad Lee at Brad's new event space at Lightspeed headquarters. And Gary said this. He said, authenticity is a combination of a belief, a knowledge of a subject, and a heavy belief or passion of a subject. Like, you have to have a knowledge, and then you have to have a heavy belief or a passion for a subject. When you have that, what you have is authenticity. This is what he said. There's some scientific research. They have literally proven that we emit frequencies from our body, all kinds emotional, that every time we have an emotional response, there's an electronic frequency that leaves our body. The highest frequency that we emit as human beings is authenticity. The most sought after frequency from other human beings is authenticity. Dude, when you can do that at a level to where you are so passionate about what you're doing, you understand. Listen, and I tell our team this all the time, our sales team, everybody from my graphics team to my website team to my sales guys to my executive assistant, everybody. Listen, if you get somebody, so when I'm calling on one of my masterminds, you get somebody in these masterminds, it's going to change their life forever. So I'm not selling you anything. I'm like, dude, this is an opportunity for you literally to change your life. I was on a call with a guy this morning. He's an 8-figure earner. His business did 115 million in sales last year. He bought his first jet about 3 or 4 months ago. He was invited on Thursday night just to come because he lives in Salt Lake City. He was invited by Randy just to come and hang out. So he got to come to the cabin. We do our big after party on Thursday night. And then I do gratitude. I do a gratitude exercise where we popcorn gratitude. Billy, dude, I'm super grateful for you because of boom, 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 boom. And then you pick somebody in the room. Dude, 2.5 hours later, hugs, high fives, laughter, tears. Dude, that room is like, it was like, I didn't want to leave. And my guy says, he speaks up. He's one of the last ones to go. He goes, guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. He goes, I'm in the top 4 masterminds in the country. Tiger 21, Board of Advisors, War Room. I've never seen anything like this before. And he goes, the reason it's like this is because every single one of you guys check your ego at the door. Dude, when you walk in that room with that level of guys, you can't tell who the 8-figure earners are from the guys making 300, 400, 500 grand a year. You can't tell. It is ego freaking free. One of the things he said was, he goes, dude, when people talk at the masterminds that I go to, the first 2 minutes are about how amazing they are. Here, nobody talks about how amazing they are. All they do is talk about how amazing everybody else is. that is my passion. That is the truest form of wanting something for people and not from people. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not about me. It's about them. And that's what I posted. I saw a clip of a podcast the other day with a really, really good friend of mine and well, actually two good friends of mine. And they were just like, the person being interviewed was like, oh, it's about you. It's not about anybody else. You got to take care of you. You know, you got to get rid of anybody that's in your life that isn't adding to what you're doing. And I'm like, oh God, please don't tell people that. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, if you're an individual that just uses people in your life just to get where you want to be or advance your vision or your career, you're missing the boat. Like, it's not about that. It's not about you. That's why I posted this morning. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about the other people. Like, yes, I have great relationships. Yes, I get to spend time with guys like you. I think I met you at the Undercover Billionaire Boot Camp, didn't I? Mm-hmm. In Pueblo with Grant and Gary and Matt Smith and all the guys from the TV show. You know, I get to speak on in November, I'm speaking with Tony Robbins, Jay Shetty, Patrick Bet-David, biggest stage I've been on so far. But like, even that stage is not about me. It's about God will elevate, and he is elevating what we're doing so we can do what? Go out and have greater impact. So we can do what? Grow the mastermind so more business people who are coming in. And dude, going after couples in business, like going after marriages, and because it's hard. Mm-hmm. And when you're doing stuff like that, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about the other people that I get an opportunity to impact. And you know what? Based on what you're doing, you can make a really good living doing it.
Yeah. Wow. Your microphone is on fire, Ken. Love it, man. We were just talking about, you're very passionate about that. And I literally just gave you your flowers. You deserve them, bro. Your roses, man. And I appreciate it. That's the reason why I have the love that I do for you, bro, because the passion, I mean, I've seen you on stage, bro, and you've shed tears. You've told some crazy stories, and you don't even have to say that there's passion, because and that's why you are where you are. That's why you're heading where you're heading, and I'm definitely, it's a promise, bro, that I'm gonna be part of it. You know, I know we've talked, and I'm kind of deciding which ones I'm gonna go with, but I'm definitely part of the team, man, because I think everything that you do is just evolved on passion, and I love that. What I have a question for you. I kind of like to ask this randomly just to see if your bank account was at zero this morning when you woke up. What's the first step?
Well, let's just say if we're where we're at right now, I'm gonna look right over here to my list for my Scottsdale Mastermind, November 1st through the 4th. Dean Graziosi, Sharon Lecter, Carlos Reyes, and all the people that are in my mastermind. I'm going to call people and go, dude, listen, we've got an opportunity for you to be able to change your life. You know, if you're a faith-based entrepreneur, if you're trying to figure out faith, and our core 5 are faith, health, relationships, business, finances, I'm going to put you in an environment you cannot get anywhere on the face of the planet. And it's only $6,000 for a one-time preview. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to make calls, and I'll have 6 figures by the end of the week. That's what I'm going to do. Because again, I'm passionate about it. I believe it. I see what's happening. When I had that guy sit on that couch there, he sent me a voice text this morning. When I had him sit on the couch and say, dude, I've never seen anything like this before. Like, this is like unbelievable. Kurt Shewell, I was on the phone with Kurt this morning. The number 1 EXP agent in Michigan. He has 120 agents on his team. Just took a 10-day cruise with his wife on the Viking cruise over in Europe. just flew in town this morning. His son's got some physical problems, and I just texted him and said, "Hey, dude, are you back? Let's connect. How's your son? He's not good. He's having seizures every day." I picked my phone up and I prayed for him. I sent him a voice text and prayed for him this morning. And he just shot me a text back and goes, "Dude, you're the real deal. You are the real deal." Like when you care for people and you really do want something for them, not from them, and you really do approach every day from the position or the posture of being a servant leader, dude, it's unbelievable what can happen in your life. Unbelievable the doors that will open up. And I was talking just a minute ago about my affirmation. I'll live a life where my heart, head, and relationships are in alignment. My heart is where I dream. It's where I paint the picture. It's where I want to go. And I was talking about the vision just a minute ago, and I got totally caught up in the 5.192 million. Your head is where your belief system is located. The problem is a lot of us we struggle with limiting beliefs. Every single one of us do. I do at some point. You do. Grant does. Everybody does. And I talk about a lot of I would say the main 6: fear, insecurity, scarcity, comparison, shame, and success. Those are the main 6, especially with fear, scarcity, and insecurity. Those are probably the top 3. And the definition of a limiting belief is something that prohibits you from seeing the potential of your future. Like it robs your ability to be able to dream. So you're dreaming in your heart, but because of limiting beliefs, your vision trips over your mindset every day. And then day after day after day, your vision trips over your mindset until you wake up one morning and you're like, this ain't going to work. I don't have what it takes. I'm not ever going to get anywhere. This is what I'm going to have to settle for. And you get there. So I will live a life where my heart and head are in alignment. When I start getting my mindset in alignment with my heart, what happens is things start coming to pass. Dreams and visions that I'm writing down twice a day, that 50, 100, 500, 1,000, those things start coming to pass. Then what happens? And this is when I added to the affirmation, probably a year back in January at the end of my Create conference. I added, I will live a life where my heart, head, and relationships are in alignment. Because when you start doing things, what happens is God starts opening doors and sending you relationships. You can't fake or create the kind of relationships that you can have when you get the heart and the head in alignment. And when you get your heart, your head, and your relationships in alignment, there is absolutely nothing in this world you cannot accomplish. Or there is no impact you cannot make around the world.
Man, I love that. I'm a student at HeartCan, and one thing that you keep speaking about is the alignment. And and I'd be a liar if I didn't struggle with that. For somebody listening out there as well, how does someone get in alignment with themselves?
Mindset, dude. It starts with mindset. Number one, you've got to be able to, and I'm big on routines. I talked about this in my mastermind in Sundance. I have a very strict morning routine. Now, my time I get up in the morning may be a little different. But I'm up at 4:30, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. class at F45. I mean, my morning routine is very strict. I mean, from the time I wake up, my alarm clock goes off. I beat it most of the time. I'll grab my phone. I go straight to my worship app. I'll put a worship song on, screenshot it, put it on my Instagram, tag a few friends, let them know, hey, here's what I just want people to know, hey, here's what I'm listening to. Good morning. I always put that on there. And then I roll from there right into my YouVersion app, and I listen to my quiet time. It's a 10, 15-minute app. I get dressed. I walk downstairs, grab my pre-workout out of the refrigerator. I get dressed. I brush my teeth. I'm ready to roll. And then my day starts from there. So I would say, getting that morning routine and that evening routine down solid. In my morning routine, it's writing my goals, gratitude, affirmations, and top 3. Goals, like what are you going after? You need to be able to, if somebody said, Ken, what are your goals? Easy. On the real estate side for the EXP, 1, 16, and 20. One is one person, that's Chase, who's my new team lead. $16 million in transactions, 20 agents to EXP. Simple. 50, 100 in GSD, 50, 100, 500, 1,000. I shared that earlier, exactly what that is. For me personally, it is lose 106 pounds, time with my girls. I've got 4 daughters, and then me healed and whole. Like that, those are my goals. I can tell you exactly what my goals are every day. And so when I look at my calendar better line up with those things right there, or guess what? Those things are never going to come to pass. It has to line up. So That really is, when you talk about alignment, that really is a way to get in alignment, is to have a solid routine. Goals, gratitude, affirmations, top 3. Gratitude. I talked about it this morning on my, like, what are you grateful for? Who are you grateful for? True gratitude always takes action. It ain't good enough for me to sit here and write gratitude in my planner. Dude, I gotta send a text. I got to send a video text. I got to make a phone call. I've got to shoot somebody an email. Hey, dude, I'm grateful for you today. I just want you to know, dude, you made this kind of an impact in my life. And go watch my video I did this morning on my Instagram. It's me on my stage at Create, right behind John Maxwell, talking about Grant and Jared and Richie and the 10X community, because they're the ones that really were the catalyst and the spark to get me where I'm at today. The first thing I did on that stage was to honor them. Hey, guys, I'm grateful for this. Some of you guys may not like Grant. And there's some things that Grant does I don't like. There's some things I do that Grant probably doesn't like. But you know what? I'm going to give him honor, because I would not be here if it weren't for him. So I think goals, gratitude, and then your affirmations. What are your affirmations? How we get rid of limiting beliefs, or what I say crush limiting beliefs, is identify, remove, and replace. You identify limiting beliefs through your gratitude. When you start doing gratitude, dude, it exposes fear. It exposes insecurity. It exposes shame. It exposes comparison. And then you see those things. Ooh, that's ugly. I don't like that part of what's going on in my heart. You're right. No, I don't like it. And then what happens is you go, okay, I'm going to create an affirmation around that insecurity. I am enough because I am his child. You know what? I've got this one about fear. I am whole. I choose to use past pain to help other people find healing. So identify, remove, and replace. You identify it through gratitude. You remove and replace through the practice of affirmations and mirror work every single day. I'm doing mirror work. I'm rewiring my neuroplasticity for my brain to function and fire in a different way than it was programmed as a kid or as a young adult or as a young man.
Man, powerful right there, bro. So another question that I have for you, because obviously you're practicing every single day, right? It's not like you did your morning routine for a week and you're like, all right, I'm good for 10 years now. What do you do to fight those funky days?
Vision. Scripture says where there's no vision, people perish. You have to have vision. You have to have a dream. There's got to be something that you're going after. And it can't just be about a new Range. I mean, I bought a Range Rover. Can't be about a Breitling or another watch or another. It's got to be, how am I impacting people? How am I I get 2 or 3 text messages, DMs a day from people that go, Ken, this is the impact you made in my life. I'm going to read one of them for you. I just got one yesterday. Somebody in my community. And she goes, also, I meant to tell you that story about the study from Focus on the Family. I talked about this on my call Monday morning about the fence and the kids at the playground. Wow, that hit me hard. Boundaries are good for us, even though they aren't fun sometimes. Thank you for that. I needed that exact thing today. Like I get those things all the time. That's the fulfillment component. Because listen, you buy a new car, it may be fulfilling for a week or 2 weeks, and then the newness wears off. I mean, I've got a beautiful Range Rover, white leather. It's nice. Sunroof, moonroof. It's clear, top stereos, just as badass as it can get. Like I'm cranking, Luke Bryan this morning on the way to the gym, loud as I can, windows down. I'm having a blast, driving a Hyundai on the damn interstate, hoping I don't see no popo.
Which real quick, it's funny, Ken, because I want people to know where you come from. You got some hood in you, man. That
I grew up in Detroit.
So respect. But go ahead.
Yeah, I grew up in Detroit, in Pontiac. Yeah, but it's those things are great, but those things don't leave. You don't lay in the bed at night going, dude, I got another watch from my watch winding case. Got another car. Flying to so-and-so. I've got another house. I've got another boat. I've got another jet. Like those things, like if you lay down on your pillow at night, and those are the things that come to your memory, those are the things that come to your mind, you're living an empty and a shallow life. Because here's the reality of it is, bro. I've never seen a hearse pull a U-Haul. Like, you ain't taking any of that stuff with you, dude. You're not. You know what you will take with you? You will take legacy with you. Today's Randy Garn's dad's birthday. It's Randy's father's birthday today. I think he's 84. I sent him a text. I sent Randy a text to send to his dad. I said, happy birthday, Mr. Garn. I, for one, am grateful you chose to live a life of legacy. I'm grateful for the character and integrity you passed along to your son. The ripple effect of your life reaches across the world. And for that, we celebrate you today. What I was in Planet Fitness this morning on the bike, doing my cool down at the end of my 30-minute ride. I sent that to Randy. Dude, send this to your dad. It's about legacy. Fulfillment. Listen, fulfillment. You can't add a zero or a comma to your bank account and it raise your level of fulfillment. Doesn't. Unless it's tied to, now I can impact more people. Now I can give more. Now I can serve more. Now I can grow my team more, so we can then in turn have a greater effect and raise the level of impact we can have on people's lives for the good.
That is deep right there, Ken. I can already answer this question that I'm going to ask you next. But this year so far, have you been saying, what's your default to yourself? Have you been saying more no's or yeses?
Boy, that's tough for me, bro. Because part of me, I love people and I want to help people. So I'm always going to probably default on the yes side. I can be good at no, but I choose to believe. Andy Stanley did one of the best talks ever at Catalyst about 15, 20 years ago, where he talked about, he had two bookends. And one said you and one said me. And he just talked about the gap that always gets in a relationship. And he goes, the wider the gap gets and the bigger the gap is, you have to choose to believe the best of the other individual when there's a gap in your relationship. So guess what? I'm usually going to say yes. I'm usually going to say yes to just about whatever.
Because you've talked about it in the past, Ken, where, sometimes somebody will ask you, hey, are you in on this? And, you say yes without even having the money, quote unquote, right? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So, last year for Create, I was on the phone with Chad, John's COO, I think, John Maxwell's COO. And, I've known Chad. He was an intern for my best friend 20 years ago for Enjoy at John's. And I was on the phone with Chad, and super dude, man. He's a super dude. And we're on the phone, and I'm like, okay, hey, I want John to come in on Thursday night and speak at the fundraising dinner. And then Friday morning, kick off my conference. And I was like, how much? He goes, well, we're going to give you the brother-in-law discount. It's $80K. It was $80,000. And I said, actually, it was $75,000 last year. It was $75,000. And I was like, okay, send me the contract over. I'm good. Send it over. And I called Nate on the phone. I FaceTimed him. And I was Nate sometime on the FaceTime with him. Look at him and I went, what's up, dude? Chad said to tell you hi. Nate's first question was, how much? I said, $75,000. He goes, how are you going to pay for it? I said, I have no idea, but we're going to do it. I told him to send the contract over. And Nate just looked at me and he just kind of laughed. Actually, this is what happened. He said, how much? I said, $75,000. And he looked at me and he stopped and he started laughing. He goes, you're going to do it, aren't you? I said, you're damn right I'm going to. He goes, how you going to pay for it? I have no idea, but we're going to figure it out. And that's how I created our speaker partnership for Create last year. 30K in ticket sales. I'm going to give you $30,000 in tickets. You're going to agree to partner with us to help fill the room. Last year we had a couple hundred people. This year we'll have 500. We're going to max it out this year. And you're going to get 25-minute keynote on our stage. I'll help you work through your message. I'll help you develop your talk. You get a 6-foot table in the foyer. You get all of the media kit, which is, it's a 3-camera directed shoot, 65-foot LED panel wall behind you, band, stills, 2 roaming cameras. I mean, it's insane. I mean, I'm handing you a $10,000 to $15,000 media kit package. And you get to do all that. And you're just helping me sell $30,000 in tickets, and you're getting a $5,000 ticket for free. So it's a no-brainer. So I came up with that plan from that call with John. Had I not done that call with John, I wouldn't have been able to do that. So
No,
yeah.
and that's definitely one out of the many things I love about you, Ken, because I'm a big believer that if you say yes more, you have an abundant mindset. If you say no more, then you have a scarcity mindset. And
Yes.
I truly believe that when a person claims to be too busy to do something, they're just admitting their efficiency. And I think that you are definitely the definition of yes man, and I'm a yes man.
Right.
I'm a
Yeah.
yes man as
Yeah.
well, and I think that's how you grow with the opportunities that come to
Yeah.
you. And it's funny because you could ask people in the audience like, oh, who wants to 10x their money, right? But most people are going to raise their hand, right? But then you ask who wants to 10x their emails, who wants more customer complaints, for example, and most ones raise their hand because
all that
comes
stuff's
with it.
coming with it, baby. You know it
Exactly.
is. It's all coming. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm also a big believer that if you're feeling overwhelmed, then that is the indication that it's time to elevate your mindset. It's not time to step down and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to slow down, because again, you got to keep that momentum going. So I think you got to elevate your mindset. And with that being said, what's one challenge this year that you think that you didn't think that would be a challenge, but you're facing it now?
Just finding the right people for the team. I mean, it's hard, dude. It's hard to find right people. It's hard to find good people. But I tell you what, as a leader, there's nothing going to challenge or stretch you as a leader more than adding people, finding the right people. And even if they are the right people, I'll never forget this, man. My pastor, coach, and mentor, Sean, called me. He was going to hire a buddy of mine to be a student pastor. He hired him, and then he almost fired him. And he called me. He goes, dude, listen, I'm going to let him go. I said, listen, man, have you talked to him about A, B, and C? And he's like, well, no, a little bit. And I said, give him a chance. Have a last 10% conversation with him and see if he'll grow through it. And guess what? He did. He did it. He did exactly what Sean asked him to do, and moved from being, just a student pastor to being the executive pastor and running the whole show of, 3 or 4 campuses and several thousand people. And now he's one of the top executive pastors in the country, and he coaches a lot of executive pastors. But it all stemmed from that one conversation that Sean had with him and called him to another level. Mm-hmm. And dude, he went and lost weight. He lost like 40 pounds. He started running. He got in shape. I mean, just his whole life changed because of that one conversation. So I think the biggest thing that maybe that you think is it's always difficult working with people and finding the right people. And I would say you've got to find, the right people with the right heart to be able to achieve what you feel like, to be able to scale and do what God's called you to do. You just got to find the right people, and that can be difficult.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely agree. And one question that I would love to ask you is, what is happiness to you, Ken?
Oh man. Hanging out with my babies. My baby girl turned 14 this week. She's 5'10". She's right at my height, maybe just a little bit shorter. She's taller than all 3 of her older sisters, so she thinks she's the mom. Hanging out with my babies. Spend time with my girlfriend. My mastermind, my community. I talk a lot about 3 spheres of influence: community, circle, corner. Community is that large group you travel with. For me, it's GSD. For some people, it's 10X. Different communities around the country. The circle are the 10 or 12 people you spend the most time with. I've got some amazing guys in my circle. And then your corner is the couple people that have a 10,000-foot view of your life that are there for you regardless. And I've got some amazing, amazing men in my corner. Amazing men in my corner. So I would say, that's happiness. And I would even say this. I'll take it one step further. I would say that's part of where my joy comes from, because there's a difference between joy and happiness. Happiness, the word happiness is rooted in the word happenstance, which is rooted in the word circumstance. So if my circumstances are good, I'm happy. My circumstances aren't good, I ain't happy. Joy is internal. Happiness is external. So if everything's going good external, I'm happy. Joy, different. Things can be falling apart all around you, and you can still have joy. Things can be like you're looking at going, crap, everything's going to hell and back, but I can still have joy because I understand how much God loves me and what he's done for me.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And, I'm big on like, what do you want your eulogy to say at the end, right? Like after it's all said and done, because unfortunately that's where we're all heading. And I have that question for you. What is something important that you want your eulogy to mention? And even I'll take it even a step further is what is the one line that you would like on your tombstone?
Ooh, he loved well. He loved well. I love Jesus well, number one. I loved my girls well, number two, and I love my friends and family well, number three. The reason Jesus made such an impact that he did in just 33 years of life and 3 years of ministry. I mean, he only spent 3 years in ministry, and he impacted where we still talk about it today, 2,000 years later, was because of the way he loved people. I tell people all the time, and some church folks, religious people don't like it, but the only people Jesus ever got pissed off at was religious people. When he met the woman at the well who was in adultery, he didn't get mad at her. When he met the woman who was caught in the middle of adultery and they brought her out naked in the street, and they all picked up stones and they were gonna stone her to death according to Levitical law. And Jesus looked at him and said, you who is without sin, cast the first stone. Scripture says they dropped their stones one after another, from the oldest to the youngest, because the oldest knew. And guess who was the only person that was sitting there that had the legal authority to be able to start stoning her? That was Jesus. And he didn't. He didn't do it. She said, where are your accusers? They left. And he said, neither do I accuse you. Go home and sin no more. When he met Zacchaeus, who was a despicable tax collector, what did he say? Go repay everybody. He said, come down from the tree. I'm coming to your house. I'm going to have dinner with you. I'm going to fellowship with you. And then when he did, what did Zacchaeus do? It moved him so much he went and repaid everybody that he took money from. I think theologians say sevenfold. He paid them back. Jesus never got angry with people that were struggling with sin or struggling in their life. When Peter denied him 3 times before Jesus was crucified, and after the resurrection in John chapter 20, Peter went back to doing what? Fishing again. He went right back to what Jesus pulled him out of. And when Jesus called him from the shore, Peter didn't even take his cloak off. He just jumped right in the water and went after Jesus. Jesus didn't wait for Peter to come find him. Jesus went and found him exactly in the same mess he was the first time he found him, because he loves us.
Man, powerful. And I'm going to ask you, I hate to wrap things up. I know I could talk to you all day, Ken.
You're good, bro.
But I know you got stuff to do. So
I'm going to eat some sushi with my daughter, bro.
Nice. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yes,
I would love to hear the answers to the questions that I ask every guest at the end. And the first one that I have is, which you've practiced it in many different ways, but what is one way that comes to your head that you've practiced the power of being uncomfortable, which is my book, but what's one way that you practice it and it got you further?
Yeah, every time I step in the gym, this past 2 weeks ago, I started going, okay, I'm going to go heavy on my legs, and I worked my way up to 8 plates on each side of the leg press machine. That's 720 pounds. I was uncomfortable. I did it. My legs I couldn't sit down for the next 24 hours because I was so sore. But anytime, I think great leaders look for uncomfortable situations. They look for opportunities to be uncomfortable because they know it's going to grow them. So I think that's huge. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. No, that's major. And my next question that I have for you is, if you were to look back at your younger self, what would be some advice that you would give yourself?
I didn't give my life to Christ till I was 25 years old. I never heard the gospel. I didn't know anything about it. I'd probably share the gospel with my younger self and let my younger self know, hey, God created you and he loves you very much. And I know you feel lonely. I know there's times where you feel like, why am I even here? And I'd introduce him to Jesus and tell him and show him in scripture how much God loves me, and hopefully convince myself to have a relationship with him.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And if there was a 3-step formula, Ken, to success, that if you do these 3 things, you're not going to fail, what are the 3 steps?
Love God, love people, and be passionate and work hard. Like, find something you're passionate about and go after it with everything you got.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. And the last question I do have is, I want to throw your book. It's a great book. It's an easy read too, which are my favorite, because especially when they have so much power in them, and yours does, As the Leader Grows. I wanted to plug your book in there, but I'm assuming that's not your only book. Is there another book that you have coming, or anything else that you're looking into?
Dude, I've got so much in me right now, bro. But I will tell you, I'm going to tell you a book that I would say go get. Like yesterday is Alex Hormozy's $100 million offer book. Woo, son. I'm listening to it on Audible and reading it. The dude's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't know that I've ever plugged anybody else's book on a podcast I'm a guest on. That book is good, dude. It's really, really good. Like, I've listened to the first 4 chapters, probably 6 or 7 times already. I just keep rewinding it every time. I'm like, oh my God, that's good. Oh my God. And I'm just listening. I'm going, oh my God, that's good. And I just keep rewinding it and going back to the chapter 1 through 4, start all over. I don't know if I've made it through past chapter 5 or 6, but I'm listening to 1 through 4 about 7 or 8 times. It's that good. So yeah, I would say that would be one that would be huge for people to listen to. It is. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Got it on my list, man. I love it. Love it. And where can people find you, Ken? I will say, anybody listening, you guys are missing out if you guys are not following him. I follow you on Instagram. Make sure you do, because you're right. You post every morning. I mean, whenever I look at your stories, I'm ready to go. So go ahead and plug your stuff in real quick.
Just at Ken Joslin, KenJoslin, Ken Joslin on Instagram. I think LinkedIn's the same. Facebook's the same. Instagram, I'm on all the time. We're there, stories, just giving people an opportunity to watch my day, and you see what my life is like. It's not fancy. Sometimes it ain't sexy, but it freaking works if you do it every single day.
Boom. And then what's your website, Ken? And if you could let us know any events that you got coming up, because I know you got a lot of things coming up, actually.
Yeah. So it's growstackdrive.com, GROWSTACK drive, DRIVE.com. You can go growstackdrive.com/Scottsdale. That's our next mastermind we've got coming up. It is an application process. We've turned a couple people away that I did not think would be a fit for what we're doing. I mean, it's a $40K a year mastermind with some of the best human beings and best entrepreneurs on the planet. It's really, really cool, man. We've got our Create conference coming up in January. Ed Milet, my good friend John Maxwell, Randy Garn, Carlos Reyes, Amberly Lago, Anthony Trucks, Marie Cosgrove, Gary Brecka. I mean, dude, the list just goes on and on. I mean, that conference is sick. I mean, we've got our CEO tickets are $10,000. You get private dinner with John Maxwell. That's limited to 50 people. Randy Garn lunch with Randy on Friday and lunch with Ed Milet on Saturday. It is absolutely going to be amazing. So growstackdrive.com/create. You can go there. They're early bird at 25% off. So those 10K tickets are $7,500. The VIP tickets are $4K. I think they're normally $5. That's private VIP lunch with all the other speakers outside of John, Randy. Well, Randy will actually be in the other lunch a couple of times as well. Outside of John and Ed, all the other speakers that I mentioned, you're going to get to have lunch with all those guys. And then we've got a executive ticket, which is like $1,500. That gets you into Thursday night as well, which is kind of our fundraiser dinner that John will be speaking at. And then we've got general admissions for like $397, which just gets you in the building Friday and Saturday and gets you a little box lunch.
Love it, man. Powerful stuff today, Ken. Appreciate it, bro. Once again, I appreciate your time, and anybody out there listening, make sure you guys follow him. Go and be involved in the community. That's only going to grow. Don't miss out on the train, man, because you're a train, brother. You're going forward and you're killing it. So
I appreciate it.
Also, everybody else listening, make sure you guys check out the podcast. It's available on all the streaming services, YouTube /Billy the Kid. But other than that, man, I will see you soon. So let's get it. Vamonos. And some don't like that. They hate that they see you smile. As if I haven't been hustling, it's been a while. Gotta put in the work if you wanna shine. I want it all and I'm coming for what's mine. Some call me greedy, bitch, I call it ambition. Some call me selfish, bitch, I call it motivation. Different levels of thinking and we both right. But my mindset is on growth with the future bright. Close-minded people mad at me that I'm speaking facts. Or maybe could it be that I'm getting racks? Open your mind, gotta open it to receive. I'm always 10 toes for what I believe. Close-minded people mad at me that